Welcome to this Windows and Computer channel, and this is a video explaining Article 13 in down-to-earth terms, non-biased. I mean, I'm a YouTuber, so I could easily be biased because it does affect me. It will affect me. It depends what's going to happen with it exactly. But I'm explaining it here just fair and square what exactly Article 13 is all about. You've been a few viewers on my channel saying, "Hey, I'd like to have your point of view on Article 13 because you talk about it in the news, but you don't necessarily, explain it or anything." Okay, Article 13. So here's the thing: the original European Union copyright law that was enforced last time was updated in 2001. And this is, of course, a modification in 2001 that included the digital era. But the thing is, technology moves fast, so it's the digital era of 2001. It has changed in 17 years. It needed to be updated. So they've, of course, passed an update that is going to be enforced. That has updates to how things are treated with copyright, and especially in the digital world, the internet, computers, all of that. And it has that famous Article 13. What is actually the Article 13? Well, until now, if you had copyrighted content on a video or in any type of digital world, a website, you have a picture that's copyrighted, what would happen is that you had to complain. So say, for example, this picture here is copyrighted. The original owner might say to YouTube, whoa, that's copyrighted. I want that taken down. And YouTube will let me know. And I've seen that happen on almost any of my channels, because from time to time you have music in the background, or you have something that makes that video, not available for certain countries because of its copyrighted content, or simply that the monetization isn't yours because that's not yours, or it's split 50-50, for example. But the owner needs to go out and say, hey, you are using copyrighted content. An example of that for me is people stealing my videos. In the past couple of years, I've sent dozens of copyright claims to other channels that just blatantly copied the content of my videos, without modification or anything, just taking the video and putting it on another channel. That means that you have to complain and have it removed, or, that's your job. With Article 13, it changes things. What it does is now it requires the company behind the content that's uploaded to have some kind of copyright algorithm that can check if what you upload is deemed to be without copyright, or safe to upload because there's no there's no copyright behind it. So it means, for example, the reason why YouTube is going a little crazy on this, it means YouTube would need to verify every single video. It already does. I mean, on music, for example, it shows it already does. But it would now have to do it on much more content. For example, images. And say that, well, okay, we need to have an algorithm that checks pictures to let us know if they are copyrighted, and remove them if they are so, which means YouTube needs to remove copyrighted content. It has to do it. The law will let it know that they have to do something about it. So everything that's uploaded to the internet, whether it's YouTube or a website, say that you're opening a new website and you know, wanted to have a provider to have your website on. Well, they also would need to have a way of checking if everything you put on your site is copyrighted or not. So it's kind of complicated because now that means that there needs to be a check of everything to make sure that it's not copyrighted or what. It also, and that's probably where things are complicated and where everybody is scared. And I would say that's the scariest part of that law, is that, for example, there's something called fair use. Right now, the use of the picture you see here, even though it might be copyrighted by somebody, can be used. I can use it in this video because I use it to explain something. So I've put the picture here and I explain, since it's a picture of, you know, Europe and the European Union, I explain with it something that has to do with the European Union. So it falls under fair use, meaning I'm using it to explain something about what it represents. In this case, European Union and, you know, Article 13 and copyright laws. So that gives me the possibility to use a picture right now, even though it might be copyrighted. I have the same example on my channels. Some people that love or some people that hate me have used part of some of my videos to either treat me like trash or to be kind and say this guy is wonderful, and I cannot say anything about it. So even the ones, you know, that treat me like trash, for example, there's nothing I can say because they use just, you know, 10 seconds of my video and then they just, you know, say whatever they have to say. It's part of free speech and it's part of fair use. I mean, even though they're using part of what is mine, a video, because of what they do with it, explaining something or speaking their mind, well, it gets into what's called fair use. I have nothing I can do about it. What happens here is that the law here doesn't really care what fair use is all about. That means that because there could be automated systems, once again, using this picture, an example, I'm under fair use, which means I have the right to use this picture because I'm explaining something. But because there's going to be filters, and filters don't understand what fair use is all about and don't really check that, well, these filters are going to simply say, whoa, that's a copyrighted picture. So we've taken down your video. So that's where it's very complicated. And what, to what point is it dangerous? You know, are we just overreacting to what this law is trying to do or not? That's where we are. We don't know what this law will actually do. We have an idea, but are we going a little too far and thinking that it might do that and create damage? That's where I think we're still in a dark zone where we're not really sure what's going to happen. So until it's officially in effect and that things need to change, we are just speculating that this might happen. One of the examples is memes. So, you know, little cute videos that use, for example, faces of other people, or you know, to create a funny video or a little another example, a reaction channel. There's one that I like a lot from FBE, which is the React channel. On the React channel, you would use, for example, other people content to have different participants have reactions to what they're seeing. Well, would that mean the end of that type of content in Europe, because these laws would require all of that content, all the little things that these people are watching, that are technically copyrighted to suddenly be unavailable because they are copyrighted and you can't use them to do other things with it. That's where it gets very complicated. We're not really sure up to what point and to where this goes exactly. So what people want is a way to have this maybe change, for example, and maybe modifications to it so that it actually doesn't go too far in what it actually will create as a problem with the content on the internet. So pretty much everybody's going nuts, and YouTube is one of the first of them, because the millions of videos, billions of videos on this service, and people uploading all the time. That's become really complex, and of course it's only European centered. I mean, only the European Union. But within the European Union, there are a few countries that have voiced their they've really talked about how that is kind of maybe going a little too far and might want to have modifications to it. It's interesting, and I mean, of course, it will have an effect in the in the European Union. But the thing is, if you look at what's happening with the different laws, like the GDPR rules this year, they've had an effect worldwide. Because companies, if they have to create filters, for example, well, they apply them everywhere rather than just applying them in the countries where all of this is happening. So, kind of a little complicated right now, and we're not really sure where it's going to go. Now, the European Parliament has voted in favor of the controversial new copyright directives. What is it going to do, and was it going to happen? What's the effect it will have? I guess we'll see as time goes on. Apparently, some people say there's no reason to go nuts. And on the other side, there's the people that say, well, this is going to block everything. Let's give it time. Let's see how it goes. The way it is now, maybe it's scary. And, I've supported efforts into trying to have this changed. But we'll see in 2019 what effect all of this will have on the technologies we use. If you enjoy my videos, please subscribe, give us a thumbs up. Thank you for watching.